Back with full force. Now, on yesterday's mass, this Sunday, out of his moral magnanimity, he found it worthy to lift our suspension.
He emphasized that the suspension given to him by the governor has taught him a great lesson.
To commend His Excellency for giving me this suspension, because he made me to sit up, made me also to know that not all that glitters are gold. He also reminded me that he is my father and the wife of the governor is my mother.
Chief Igwe urged people of the state to rally round their support to the administration of Governor Francis Nwifuru because of his excellent leadership in the state. For South TV News, I am Chidebere Nwolie.
Local Government Council Prince Chima Ekomakama says his administration has always paid teachers' salaries as at when due. Prince Chima Ekomakama stated this during an exclusive interview with EBBC in Abakaliki regarding the allegation of non-payment of teachers' salaries by some local government chairmen by Nigerian Union of Teachers. The report.
According to the council chairman, his administration has been able to pay the teachers both October, November, and December salaries.
Because the worst thing I would do is to eat a teacher's salary. My mom was a one-time teacher before she retired. And that's the same source they fed me and gave me training. So why will I stop another? Yes, we are embarking on a verification exercise, which is causing a little delay in payment. But there was no single teacher that was not paid salary, both October, November, and December.
Prince Ekomakama said the gesture made the teachers not to embark on strike in his local government area.
To our stakeholders, I want to appeal. They should try and verify before they conclude to nail chairman. We were called all sorts of names by people we felt that are enlightened enough for them to do investigative journalism like you guys will always say. But I thank God, truth is gradually surfacing. And there's reconciliation going on. We don't have issues with AUT. We just want them to understand that we are out there for them and nobody should deceive them.
He encouraged the teachers and staff of his local government to always demonstrate commitment and dedication to their duty to justify their salaries. For South TV News, I am Chide.
The Ebonyi State Governor Chief Francis Nwifuru, moved by his avowed determination to meet the needs of the people, has revitalized Ebonyi State Poultry Farm Hatchery, Abakaliki, back to its glory days after being vandalized, looted and abandoned for over a decade. Soul TV reporter Charles Ole Jr. visited the poultry farm to ascertain the level of development and allegation of theft of fowls and eggs by the staff. The report.
Governor Francis Nwifuru aim of revitalizing the Ebonyi State Poultry Farm was to enhance food security, promote economic stability, and provide source of protein through poultry production, as well as help stabilize prices in the market. When contacted, the accountant of Ebonyi State Poultry Farm, Hatchery Abakaliki, Mrs. Sharon Pius Abale, and the supervisor of livestock unit, Dr. Agama Nkama, unanimously denied the allegation of any theft of eggs or chicken, stating that the magnanimity of the governor to rehabilitate the poultry farm cannot be jeopardized, adding that enough security was in place to checkmate movement of staff and customers. They, however, urged the people of the state to avail themselves of the opportunity provided by the poultry, revealing that a crate of eggs is sold far less than it can be found elsewhere in the market, saying that the farm currently has over 20,000 birds.
We encounter mortality, but we have dump sites. Ebonyi State Poultry Farm don't carry any mortality or any egg or any sort of selling of egg or anything. As you can see, we even sell our cracks. This is to show you that every money we generate goes in directly to the government account. And
so for anybody to say that he saw staff carrying some dead bird out of this place is totally untrue. And the same thing is applicable to eggs. Maybe some people saw people coming in to buy their eggs. Then somebody is saying they're stealing it without coming in to verify their facts.
The section inspected, including poultry pens, which produce over 100 crates of eggs every day, and over 10 pens have been newly renovated to add to the earlier renovated ones with beds. Other sections inspected included the feed mill, which the construction is still ongoing.
You are still watching Salt Television Evening News. At this point, we'll take a short break. More stories after now. Stay with us. The Matriculation Board, JAMB, Professor Ishak Oloyede says the autonomy of public universities can be better achieved if the National Universities Commission (NUC) is left to manage the budget of tertiary institutions in addition to its roles as the regulator that accredits courses in schools. Oloyede, a former Vice Chancellor of the University of Ilorin, made the disclosure in Abuja. The report.
The JAMB registrar said university education is so sensitive and the government should allow experts to administer these tertiary institutions. He faulted a situation where each public university now approaches the National Assembly to defend their budget and get whatever they want based on the people they know and the influence they wield. He said when the NUC managed the budget of universities, there was the university's annual review system, which looked at how many candidates universities have across disciplines and used that to determine the next year's budget. Oloyede said when the NUC was in charge, the money going into capital development was high, but now it has fallen because universities now have too many support staff. He envisaged a situation where public universities would get funds based on the number of students they admit. The former Vice Chancellor also said Nigeria does not need more universities, stressing that the current ones should be expanded and equipped for better performance. He lamented a trend where politicians now compensate marginalized communities with the creation of universities instead of the establishment of factories.
The Defense Headquarters DHQ has disclosed that 800 former Boko Haram fighters who surrendered to the military are currently undergoing re-eradication for onward reintegration into the society. The Chief of Defense Operations, Major General Emeka Onomajuru, made this known to newsmen. The report.
According to him, 1 year is enough time to reorient and reintegrate the ex-terrorists into the larger society. He said though about 129,000 Boko Haram fighters have been arrested so far, only 800 former fighters were carefully selected to participate in the rehabilitation and reintegration project tagged Operation Safe Corridor. Asked whether if it was possible to de-radicalize terrorists and reintegrate them into society in 1 year, the top military officer said it is possible because the radicalization is done by professionals, that 1 year period is sufficient enough depending on the people handling the radicalization. It doesn't mean the 129,000 are going through the program. The people going through the program right now are about 800 in batches. Those 800 are people that have been sieved through the entire legal process before they are brought to the center. He stressed that kinetic and non-kinetic strategies must go hand in hand for Nigeria to win the asymmetric warfare against insurgents. The de-radicalization carried out by the Operation Safe Corridor is part of the non-kinetic. You cannot win an asymmetrical war with just kinetic approach. he said.
Ecuador's presidential election will go to a second round after a closely contested first-round result failed to produce an outright winner. The electoral authorities called it a technical tie after the incumbent center-right candidate, Daniel Noboa, and his main left-wing challenger, Luisa Gonzalez, received nearly identical percentages of the vote. The report.
The pair will now face a runoff in April. The result is far narrower than opinion polls had predicted, indicating the second round could be harder to call. The narrow result also dashed the hopes of Noboa's supporters, who had been buoyed by an early exit poll suggesting he might clinch victory outright. The president's supporters gathered in Quito, waving flags, donning T-shirts with his image, and holding life-size cardboard cutouts of the incumbent president. These cutouts depicting Noboa in various outfits, from suits to tank tops and sunglasses, have become ubiquitous symbol across the country, decorating front doors, apartment windows, and even car rooftops. Noboa's presidency has been defined by his focus on tackling severe gang violence. He implemented emergency measures to deploy the military to streets and the prisons to curb rising crime. Many of his supporters hope he will secure a mandate in the runoff to continue his security policies. Gonzalez, a protege of former President Rafael Correa, has criticized Noboa for failing to deliver on key promises such as boosting the economy, cutting fuel prices, and addressing violent crime.
President Donald Trump has said he will announce a 25% import tax on all steel and aluminum entering the United States, a move that will have the biggest impact in Canada. Trump also said that there would be an announcement later in the week about reciprocal tariffs on all countries that tax imports from the U.S., but he did not specify which nations would be targeted or if there would be any exemptions. The report.
The move marks another escalation of Trump's trade policy, which has already sparked retaliation from China. Canada and Mexico are two of the U.S. biggest steel and aluminum trading partners. The UK does not import or export much steel to the U.S. However, trade body UK Steel said any U.S. tariffs would be a devastating blow to the UK industry. Steel production in the U.S. is heavily politicized. Some argue the country needs to be capable of producing enough high-quality steel to supply its military in the event of the national emergency without relying on imports. During his first term, Trump put tariffs of 25% on steel imports and 10% on aluminum imports from Canada, Mexico, and the European Union. But the U.S. reached a deal a year later with Canada and Mexico to end those tariffs, although the European Union import taxes remained in place until 2021. Those tariffs increased costs for car firms in the U.S. as well as makers of fizzy drinks who use aluminum in their cans. These were then passed on to customers, according to a report from think tank Task Foundation. In response, Doug Ford, a premier of the province of Ontario, accused Trump of shifting goalposts and constant chaos, putting our economy at risk.
And that's the news, but before we go, a quick look at our major stories. Ebonyi State Commissioner for Local Government and Chieftaincy Matters has promised to be dedicated to his duties at all times. The Registrar of the Joint Admissions and Matriculation Board, JAMB, Professor Ishak Oloyede, says the autonomy of public universities can be better achieved if the National Universities Commission NUC is left to manage the budget of the tertiary institutions, in addition to his role as the regulator that accredits courses in schools. President Donald Trump of the United States has said he will announce the 25% import tax on all steel and aluminum entering the U.S., a move that will have the biggest impact in Canada. And that's the news. Many thanks for watching. My name is Angela Ekuma. Good night.